Spotlight TV. I am so proud to have an amazing guest and share this great personality with you because not only are they a platform partner, but last year, 50 Shades of Pink sponsored our fashion and philanthropy interviews with a beautiful set design. And I want to introduce you to Sabrina Vela, who is the co-owner and principal designer at Mendez Vela Meta. And we are so happy to have you, Sabrina. You are such a rock star. You have incredible experience, and everything that you guys do is just like this beautiful, elegant vibe. So today is all about you. We want to hear how you started and share some of the high points along the way.
Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for having me here. Well, it's been a career that started about 25 years ago for me. I studied interior design in Argentina, and I started working in Argentina for a couple of years, but then I had this wild dream that I wanted to live in another country. So the opportunity came, and I moved to Miami as an experience, and I loved it. Never went back to Argentina to live, just only to visit. And I continue on my career here. Actually, I made my career here.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this, like, so as a young girl, what were the first clues that maybe this is something, that that you wanted to do? Like, were you someone who, like, your room was, a certain way? Like, I always like to look for those early signs of where the passion, was, first bubbling up.
Well, I actually knew from like the very young age. It was kind of a funny story. I was like sitting in my dining room with my grandmother, and she was asking, we're three sisters, so she was asking each of us, what would you like to be when you're an adult? So everybody was saying something different. My older sister wanted to be a teacher, my younger a doctor. And then she asked me, what would you like to be? So I look at her and say, like, I have no idea. What can I be? So she said, well, she had very high expectations for me. So she said, you can either be a doctor, an architect, or an attorney. And I was like, what does an architect do? And because it sounded funny, that word sounded funny to me. So she explained to me, they build houses, they build buildings. I said, okay, well, I want to do that. So for like the longest time, I thought I was going to be an architect. So I went to enroll to the university, to college, to be an architect. And when I was sitting there and writing down my thing, I was like, my form, I was like, no, this is not what I want to do. I like houses and everything, but I care about the interiors. I care about giving people a place to live, to enjoy. I care about the distribution in the interior. I care about the comfort. This is not for me. So I went back home, and my mom said, how did it go? And I said, like, no, Mom, I decided I'm not going to be an architect. So she looked at me and said, like, of all my kids, you were the only one that always said that she wanted to be an architect since you were 6 years old. Mm-hmm. So what happened to you? And I said, like, Mom, give me 2 weeks and I'll let you know. I think I want to be an interior designer.
Wow. At that early age?
Yeah, I was 17, actually, when I decided not to decide to do an architecture. So
there are many undecideds that go all through college and still don't decide. So at 17, that's pretty early on.
No, but I knew from the moment I started. I even selected the school that I selected because I loved the building. The interior was amazing. It was like 200 years old. It was French influence, architecture, and it was gorgeous. So I fell in love with the place and I studied there. And I never doubted it. That's all I've been doing for the past 25 years. And I love it every day. For me, I love creating. I love creating. I define myself as a person that creates.
Let's talk about your team and the process, because I'm always fascinated at how the vision comes in. And, when you look at something, is it right away that you know where you're going? Is it after a lot of deliberation? Like, how do you match the vision and the creativity with the client?
Well, I feel that it's like kind of magic. It is kind of instant. And it's not... It's not always the same. It depends a lot on the person you're designing for and the environment, the location. If the person has travel and have collected things that they want to display in their home, their way of living, if this is a second home, there are different vibes and things that person, that client is looking for. So that is the main core of our initial design process. So then it could be anything. It could be like we started projects from the selection of one piece only, and that was the center core of the entire thing. And it was a color, it was a texture, it was a vibe, it was something. I do really believe in energy. Energy for me is very important. I feel that a space has to be a sanctuary for our clients and for myself too. Mm-hmm. I always say that it doesn't matter how hard my day was. The moment I turn the corner of my house and I see my house like half a block away, I feel at peace. And that is the same way I always want my clients to feel when they enter to their homes or the hotels that we create, because we also do commercial and hospitality. So for me, it's all about energy, feeling, and what a room makes you feel. What's the vibe that is giving you? The room has to give you back. It's not just an empty space or a place beautifully designed that doesn't make you feel good.
Well, you're excellent. I mean, Mendez Vela medal, recently won an award, was recognized with South Florida Luxury Guide Awards, and I was there to actually see it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Again, but that's years and years of dedication. What would you say are like some of the high points? Maybe, I don't know, some of the projects that you've worked on and just thought like, fell in love with, or, high points of your career.
Well, I think that we had a few high points, but in my personal opinion, my highest point was about 15 years ago when I met my partner, Osiris Mendez. It was kind of
we
love
Osiris. I love Osiris.
Well, I love Osiris too, obviously.
And it's wonderful to see partners. I mean, all of you have that vibe and love for and respect for each other. Like, you're very much a team, and it's obvious. And, it's not always easy in partnerships. And, I got to tell you, when, I meet business partners, you could tell immediately that you all share that value and that excellence. And it is a vibe.
It is. And I have to say that it is difficult, as you said, to have a partner. But we build this relationship that we are like sisters, and we help each other, and we fight with each other for the best of our designs. But it was a great opportunity for me at that time, because I was recently starting my career in the United States, like 5-6 years in, and I met her, and she opened up a new way of opportunities to me. She started the business in 1996, and we joined in 2010. So she had some connections and things that, it helped my career. So that's how mainly I started more in the Miami design.
And are there certain things, I'm curious, because that's a long time to be in this profession. What do you feel has changed over the years? What are, some of the changes in the industry? I mean, I imagine technology really has changed your business a great deal, and the ability to, use all these virtual tools. I don't know.
Well, I will have to say that yes, that we are always reinventing ourselves. That's the way you stay current and up to date, no? It's not only technology, people change, the world change. So you have to adapt to what's going on. Technology could be your friend and could be your enemy. Mm-hmm. What we do still needs a lot of our presence, and it needs that personal touch, because we work in a very We work in on our clients' home, their sanctuary, their place. So it needs an involvement. It needs, it's a very personal space for them. Technology helps a lot in the sense that, they don't need to fly down to Florida anymore for a meeting. I mean, they can come once or twice, and then we can follow up with a Zoom meeting. We can create beautiful 3D videos and send them to them so they can see their homes or their hotels ahead of the design. But yes, that's what it is. One thing I have to say, technology helped me a lot for not having to travel so much in long distance or like driving for hours back and forth. But yes, facilitates things.
It seems to me also that after COVID, that when people had to spend so much time at home, everyone got into wanting to redesign their space and do that. Was that something that you guys found in your business, that, people were turning to you to, come in and recreate their homes or freshen it up or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, there was a new need of things, a home that has to be functional for like during the day working or homeschooling kids. And at the same time, it has to still be the place where the family gets together and have dinner. So it couldn't feel like entirely like a home, but it couldn't feel like an office either. So we had to create a balance. We have to create separate zones here and there, reinvent a room that before was maybe a guest bedroom and now it's a home office. But at the same time, it has to accommodate a guest if they come from out of town for a weekend. So, but yes, it changed. COVID changed things a lot.
Let's talk about colors. Because one thing that's obvious to me as I look at all your press is that there's a certain timeless classic design that, I mean, it's almost like I could tell. I'm looking at, Mendez Vela design, because there's an elegance to it, and you guys don't get too trendy and you keep it classic. So is that something that you intentionally do and say, okay, well, this piece will be too much and you'll get tired of it in 2 years? Is that something that you have a discussion with clients about? How do you keep it so timeless and classic?
Well, it is an investment for our clients, so we always like for them to do it timeless and classic, as you said. But if you look at our designs, yes, you will find that common point or reference, that it's classy, it's elegant, it's like a casual elegance also in some of the cases. Timeless, that's what we're looking for. And but it also reflects the personality of our clients. We don't design for ourselves, just a little bit, but we design for our clients. So some of our clients say, well, I like the color red. We have a client that he was crazy about color red and gold, and he wanted to do all his 52 doors in the house of the 20,000 square foot home in red. And we were like, I don't think that's a good idea, because I think it's overwhelming, but we will put the red here and there. So tastefully, we included what he liked, and it was timeless. The doors ended up being black.
Okay. Are there certain colors that trend and that you tend to go with? Like, I mean, or like when it comes to colors, what's the most common discussion that you have with clients?
But basically, it's mainly what the client likes. On the trends, yes, we go mainly every year to the shows and we see what is the new trend, what is the new color. We implement the trends in smaller things, like if it's maybe accents or maybe something that can be easily replaced, because we want the space to be timeless. We want for a client, like we have designs that we did like 10, 15 years ago that they're second homes and they're still impeccable because they're not being used all the time, and you still enter in there. It could be current. It could be still on today's, with today's trends. It's not, or with today's designs. It doesn't look dated. Mm-hmm. So that's our main goal. That the client changed it because he wants to have a refresh or a new design, but not because it's passé.
Mm-hmm. And you're in our coffee table book of leaders. We're so honored to have you there, and we're looking at doing a private lunch. And let's talk about the photo shoot, because I mean, your photo shoot just pure elegance, and not only that, but it looked like it was a lot of fun. So let's talk about that for when you guys thought of doing it, where you did it, and
Okay.
yeah.
Well, basically, we wanted to do it at a place that we feel can represent us as designers, in the sense of, as you said, elegance, a little bit of glam, but at the same time, it has to be something that didn't define a specific design. And also, we do have various partner vendors that we appreciate. So we didn't want to give a spotlight to one and not to the other one. So we decided to do it in a beautiful place, a showroom in the design district, but we only used specific areas like the staircase, which is a beautiful architecture piece, some of the seating areas to highlight some of the things. And yes, it was a little glamorous.
I can't wait to. I can't. Well, the book's coming out in September, but we're gonna have lots of fun with that. Let's talk about you as a leader. What would you describe your leadership style?
Well, I'm the type of person that I learn in my life. I learn watching and making mistakes. And I never had someone sitting next to me and telling me how to do the things from A to Z and making sure that I did them right. But make sure I did them right, because if not, I was going to get in trouble. I'm the type of leader, per se, that will give you guidance on what you need to do. Will always be there if you have questions, but I will always tell you, read your things before you ask me, because the answer might be on the task that it was sent to you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can come to me and I'll teach you. I have patience for teaching, but as I said, I always learn by watching people do things and making my own mistakes.
What would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give to your younger self?
Not to be so tough on me. but I'm a person that does not have regrets, because I think that everything was a learning experience. Did I make mistakes? Everybody make mistakes. And once you recognize your mistakes and you move forward and you reinvent yourself and you keep going. So I was tough on myself a couple of at times in my life, but I enjoy life. And I'm still enjoying it. Mm-hmm.
Your smile says it all. What would be your dream project? Like, if you had to say something that you still haven't done,
Mm-hmm.
that, is kind of on the bucket list or wish list of wow, we'd love to design.
Well, I think that we've been blessed with many beautiful projects. One of the things that I always wanted to do, and we were after it, is like branching out to hospitality. And we were able to accomplish that. We are on our third hotel that we're doing now. Maybe my dream will be doing a hotel in a beautiful island, because all of our hotels are here in Miami Beach, which is gorgeous, but it's our hometown. And getting to spend like a month away in a beautiful island designing that hotel, yes, that will be my dream.
Well, you are a global business, so without a doubt, who knows? Dubai,
No.
I don't know.
It could be in our future, yeah. We've done some projects outside of the United States, in Canada and the Caribbean. We did projects in Boston, in New York, and it's always fun to take like a couple of days. It's not off because you're still working, but you feel like you're taking the days off because you're traveling to another city and you're going to different showrooms and different places in another city. So it's fun.
What is your sweet spot? Like, what part of your job is where you flourish and thrive? Is it going and looking at new showrooms, or is it quiet time, actually pen and paper? What would you say is like your favorite moments in design?
My favorite moments in design, there are a lot. There are a lot. They're like the very beginning, meeting the client, getting to see the space that we're going to design, feeling the energy of that space and the views, and that's one of my favorite times. Another favorite time is after 6 p.m. when people are not calling me that much and I'm not getting interruptions from work and construction sites and all those things. And it's me sitting in front of the computer, maybe creating a PowerPoint and putting together a room or, and selecting things and having fabrics in front of me and finishes. So yeah, it's a little bit of a long time, but when I'm fully concentrated on the design and I can shut off the rest of the things going on and, the immediate things that have to be resolved. So that's
working with hospitality, I would imagine it's a whole different animal, right? I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, you're dealing with corporations and individuals and really big spaces. How is it different than, say, working in a home? Those two very different projects.
Well, mainly it's not so personal because normally there's a group of investors. They most important thing for them is to stay in budget, to get it delivered by the time they need it. Also, of course, they have a vision. They normally do have a vision of what they would like for the place to look like. But we have more freedom to create. And as I said, it's not that personal. Mm-hmm. While you're doing residential, you're more, it's more personal for the client. You're more in contact with the client on like daily or weekly basis. In commercial, you have a little bit more freedom, but then you have to deliver. We always deliver. We always deliver in residential and commercial.
And when you're thinking about going into any space, be it restaurants, be it, I imagine you can never shut it off, right? You go into a place and the first thing you're looking at is the art and is that true or?
It is absolutely true. Everywhere I go, everywhere I walk in, I'm looking at everything. I'm like, my eyes are wandering everywhere and, looking at the fabric, the color, the pillow, the accessory, the art piece, the ambience, the lighting that is so important in every design. And not only on a space, like one of my beautiful moments during the day is like when I'm driving back home and I'm watching the sunset. So if you look at the sunset, it varies. It depends on summer and winter, and the colors change. And they're beautiful colors. You have a palette of colors in there, like the oranges and the blues and the yellows. And then the winter sky has more like pinks and, or the tree that it's out there with the beautiful blossoms. Everything is an inspiration.
And what about managing time? Because what I was shocked at, just in few times, in more recent times ordering furniture are the delays on those types of things. How do you work? How do you manage all those details and a client in a space? I was just with a friend yesterday and she had moved into a new space and she goes, well, some of these deliveries will take a while. How do you manage that?
Well, I think that it's all about coordination and reinventing yourself. Like things before used to take 3 to 4 months. Now they can take up to 6 to 8. So once you know the market and you work with we work with a tight group of vendors that they're reliable, and we've been working with them for the past 10, 15, 20 years. So we know them and we know what they will deliver. And it's about coordinating everything. Like people feel that they don't have to buy their furniture until the house is almost done. And that's wrong, because furniture is going to take at least 6 months. And then you have to put on top of that the month and a half of like going here and there and selecting the staff. So that's an additional delay. Mm-hmm. So it's about coordinating. When does the tile have to go in? The wallpaper has to go in. The furniture comes in. So it's like a symphony.
And do most people like say, okay, here, the entire home, or do they start room by room? What's the most common I mean, for me, it's always about the closet, but the living room, I imagine, do they do it piecemeal? Do they, sit and have a big idea of what the whole place will look like? I'm curious how some of your clients tend to attack design.
Well, we do have a lot of repeat clients. We are word of mouth. So I will say that initially our clients, it's mainly the whole house. They're moving or they're getting a second home or they're building a house from the ground up. On rooms only, we've done a couple on repeat clients or referrals that they will start by, as you said, the closet or the kitchen is one of the main things that they will start, but then it will grow into other areas.
Well, let's talk about your personal style. Take me through your home and your thought when, it comes to designing for the designer. It's almost like, shopping for the fashion person. What would you say is your style at home?
My style at home is casual elegance. I like to, I don't have many colors. I have some accents here and there, but I like textures. I like unique pieces from travels. I have a couple of antique pieces that I brought from Argentina, and they're in my living room. I don't like clutter, so I have enough to be comfortable and the right amount of pieces and scale. I do have vintage pieces as well. Mm-hmm. I like uniqueness in design. Like we do it for our clients, but I like it with myself too. Mm-hmm. Like to walk into my house and say, well, that piece I bought when I was somewhere, or that one I bought it in a vintage store, and I refurbish it. And, it has a story. So that's what I like about it.
I'm curious, you and OCDs, so when you go and have your first meeting with a client, how do you tend to navigate that in terms of divide and conquer?
Divide and conquer, we finish each other's sentences. We are to a point in our life that we have a relationship that we don't need to speak to each other to know what the other one is thinking.
Yeah, your brains are like sharing the same. Yeah, I noticed
like
that.
A chip. Yeah, we're sharing the same chip. Well, we do have our roles, and our clients know and notice that we do. And we are very confident of each other's, and we rely on each other. And then our younger junior partner, he's also an integral part of our design process.
He's amazing. He's brilliant.
Well, everybody adores him with a beautiful smile of him, sweet, but also he's very focused and he's very dedicated. He managed the part of construction. And that gives us more time to be with the clients and doing other things as well. And basically it's all about how the team works and each of us having our specific things. But then at the same time, the design process, it's always we start it together. And then everybody has their own task.
That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And the beauty of it is just the scope of work, like you're saying. I mean, just taking a look at your website and taking a look at your work and your press articles and all that. So we have a couple minutes left, and I want this to be now your 30-second commercial. If someone's out there, whether it be in hospitality or home and wants to work with you, how do they reach you? Where do they go? How can they find you?
Well, basically, I invite you to visit our website, which is www.mendezvela.com. And also you can follow us on Instagram. We are at Mendez Vela Metal Design. You can see some more of our recent projects, ongoing projects in there. And that's how you find us.
Wonderful. So Instagram, of course, you're there. You're all over social media. You do a beautiful job on your social media, and everything you do, like you said, is just that timeless elegance, classic.
With a sense of wonder.
With a sense of wonder. I like that. With a sense of wonder. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough for partnering with us. We're so grateful to you, and it has just been wonderful. not only having you part of our Miami Women Who Rock group, but what we're looking to do in the future, and excited for the Book of Leaders to come out. Thank you so much for being on Spotlight today. You truly are a rock star,
Oh,
and
thank you, Emily.
I'm very grateful. And in terms of I'm just curious because I don't always ask this, but favorite hotspot. I'm curious, not only on the food level, but a restaurant that you love that you walk in and has floored you with their design. What would it be?
Well, I would say that it's also about the experience, and and it was fun. It's in Spain, in Madrid, and it's called Amazonico. I was blown away by the design. The cocktails are amazing and the food is good too. But at the bar, the design of the bar, I still go back to it for inspiration. So I would say
Wonderful.
that's
Well,
it.
we got our travel tip, and we know where to go. Thank you so much for being on Spotlight. You truly are a rock star. Love you,
Thank you.
CDs, and
Thank you so much.
are very grateful to you. We'll see you next week on Spotlight TV. Thank you for joining us, and a big shout out to community newspapers. Love, Grant, Michael, and the whole team here. Thank you for producing our show.